didn't even see it.
It looks like this, and it's just black. I have the shirt on. Yeah.
All right, we're live. Welcome back to another Wisco Fanatics Friday night Packer episode. Welcome back, Bryant and Simon. How you guys doing this week?
What's up, dude?
Good. It's been a nice long weekend for us. So.
Hey, it felt really fucking long watching that game last night. Holy shit.
Oh, you don't have a 4-day weekend this weekend?
No, I had to work today.
You have a 4-day weekend this weekend?
I had to work today.
I had a long week, a really long week though. So.
Sorry to hear that, man. Did you guys watch that game last night? What do you think?
Unfortunately.
when it went to overtime, I looked at my wife.
My favorite tweet to come out of that
I'm gonna have
is the one where it's like, at least next
game.
week's game can't be worse, and then next week's game is the Commanders and Bears.
Yeah. Oh my god. But watch that one actually be exciting because both teams are bad. When we expected both these teams to be,
it'll be like that Seahawks-Lions game that was 48-45.
Yeah.
At least that's exciting, back and forth. But goodness. Dude, Russell Wilson just doesn't understand not to throw the ball like
at the 1 yard line.
Like, what are you doing? Why is he throwing the ball there?
Did you see Richard Sherman go off about running the ball?
Oh yeah,
it was so fucking funny,
dude. He still has feelings about that, bro.
You don't think there's any resentment there?
No, hey, that was not planned at all.
Yeah, Wilson.
That was so funny, though.
Wilson might be washed, man. And I was having a conversation with one of my buddies in the offseason, and he was like, oh, I hate Wilson. I think he's done. I was like, dude, you're crazy, man. He's going to Denver. And, like, I'll admit it, I fell for it. I thought Denver was going to go crazy this year. I thought they'd be, like, 12-5.
I still thought they were going to finish third in that division.
Did you really? Who do you think was going to be second? The Chargers?
Chiefs.
Oh, I picked the Chiefs to win, so I'll hang my hat on that.
I liked what Chargers did in the offseason.
I like the Chargers when they're healthy.
Yeah.
The Chargers are like the Lions, though, man. They can get all this talent, and then for some reason they just
won't do Justin Herbert like that.
He's not picking up that system is the problem. Like, he's got to know KJ Hamler's going to be open, like, right there. He's just locked in on Sutton. Like,
dude, Russell Wilson's contract is sick, too.
Yeah. Did you see the end of his contract? He's paid like $50 million when he's like 38 years old or something.
I think he'll be fine. I'm not giving up on him yet, but
in 2026 is the first potential out.
Yeah, because of the
and he has a $31 million dead cap.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
That's sick. Oh my god. If he
that
doesn't
should make Packers fans feel good about the Rodgers contract. Just let me say that.
the Seahawks fleeced him so hard. Holy hell.
Yeah, they got.
If he doesn't pick up this offense, that's disgusting.
Dude, Geno Smith looks way better than him.
To be fair, Geno Smith got to face the Lions.
Hey, yeah. Well, he's looked good all year, though.
I traded
Simon I know. Thinking it was just a fill-in, and I'm like, I'm starting Jacoby Brissett this week. I'm like, man, I could use Geno right now.
Fucking A, bro. Geno's definitely a good stash in fantasy. I'll say that.
Okay.
Hey, all right, Tyler, what you got, man? How was your week, buddy?
Yeah, Denver should get a refund. That's funny. Welcome back, Robert. All right, so we're going to start with our 3 stars of the game and our underrated performer. We're going to go to Jake for we did our 3 stars and our underrated performer. I should say just the 3 stars. The underrated performer, that one, whoever does the underrated performer every week is going to get to pick it. And the rest of us are going to have to see who they picked and go along with it. So Jake has the first star this week, so I will let Jake give us the first star that we agreed on.
Wow. This one was pretty much unanimous. We just threw his name out there in the chat, and it was like, yeah, I think he should be a star. I had Rashawn Gary, 7 total tackles, 4 solo, 2 sacks, 1 tackle for loss, and 2 quarterback hits. The man has absolutely arrived. Now, I'm sure everybody saw this stat, or was it shared by Packers Stats or whatever? There's a page I follow, and I found this on Rashawn Gary. In his last 8 games played, he has 10 sacks, 16 quarterback hits, and 12 tackles for loss. That is disgusting.
We covered that in our preseason preview, and he's like, he was coming along the back half of last season, but man, he's just started on a tear, and it's still like he's not getting the respect nation like through the whole league. I'm just like, okay, keep sleeping on him.
He's getting the respect in Vegas because he's up to second in odds for Defensive Player of the Year behind only Micah
Oh, no
Parsons.
kidding.
Really?
Nice.
Really?
Wow, I did not know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's kind of getting the Kenny Clark treatment in my eyes too. Right?
Yeah.
Where Kenny Clark doesn't get as much love as he should, but that guy's an absolute bull, man.
Yeah.
Both of them. All right. Simon, you have the second star, I believe.
Yeah. So I was looking for something. I can't remember. I was looking for something else on Rashawn Gary. I had it written down. I don't remember where it's at. Anyways, I had Aaron Jones as our second star. Huh?
Good times.
What's that?
You guys have seen that video. So anyways.
Oh, yeah. So anyways. So I had Aaron Jones. Obviously, he just had a monstrous week. 16 carries, 110 yards. Get this, 6.9 yards per carry.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, buddy.
Yes, sir. I wrote it down in case you didn't say it.
Listen.
You knew I was going to say it.
I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I sought out and I found several 69 references, so there will be giggling abounding in this episode.
Let's go. All right. 76 yards after contact. That's solid.
That's a lot.
7 of his 16 rushes went for first downs. So get this. In the league right now, he's 24th in total carries. He's 9th in yards after contact. He's second in the league in yards after contact per attempt with those over 40 carries.
Robert, he's only got the
crazy.
He's only got the one fumble. Robert, I mean, he's got 8 total in his career if you include the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's just a monster. It's so fun to watch him run. And I'm actually surprised he hasn't caught the ball more, but he's really producing a lot on the ground.
I was just going to say that. I don't want to say it's underwhelming, but I think we expected a lot more out of Aaron Jones in the passing game than what he's produced so far. Even this week, he only had 3 catches for 5 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's got a lot of work to do to get to my 80 reception prediction for my bowl prediction. I wouldn't trade Eric Stokes for Jalen Reagor and Irv Smith.
Yeah, I don't want either of those.
What?
Yeah, it's
he said or, but he said he meant both. I wouldn't trade him for both.
No, not a chance.
I wouldn't have traded for Reagor for a 7th round pick, if I'm being completely honest.
Packers could take a flyer on a lineman and it'll probably turn out okay. So I agree with Tyler on this.
It's actually kind of crazy. Like, Aaron Jones is on the same pace for catches as he was last year.
He said it was worth a try.
Yeah. Tyler, you got the third star?
Yep, I got Lazard. So, perfect way to transition this is that Lazard and Aaron Jones had 25 touches between the two of them and combined for 231 yards.
That works.
Allen Lazard had 6 for 116. He had 3 catches of 20-plus yards. What's up, Christopher? Christopher, there's my hype man in here watching. Yeah, he knows. He already knows. Here come the stats. Allen Lazard had 3 catches of 20-plus yards. He was 3 for 3 for 73 yards in the second half and overtime. And of his 6 receptions, 5 of them were for first downs.
Dang.
So Allen Lazard was big this week. Simon, is it you that came in with the extra stat about Allen Lazard today in the chat?
Yeah, I was gonna bring it up later, but I can just do it now.
Do it now. So, we're giving him all the credit for being a star.
That's fair. So Lazard, 12 catches on the year. 11 of those have converted for first downs or touchdowns. That's kind of gross. And I think right now he's second in the NFL in DVOA for wide receivers, only behind Mike Evans.
Yep.
Like, that's just crazy. And he's
not
on
even
pace.
number 2, though, right?
Yeah. The other thing I didn't include in the
chat
chat was he's on pace for 920 yards and 11 touchdowns and 64 catches.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I could see him hitting the over on all those.
Yeah. Especially touchdowns
may be a little but the other two, I can definitely
games,
see.
He's got 2. I mean, he's only played 3 of the games, I guess.
He's only played three games.
Yeah, I don't know if he's getting 10 touchdowns. John,
Hey,
I can
don't
see
be going
it.
to somebody.
Sarcastic.
He's got.
Yeah, I really hope you're being sarcastic, bro. John said Packers need a better quarterback. Rodgers getting old, can't hit the side of a barn.
I will
Bring on
say
Jordan
though,
Love.
I'm not saying that that's true, but he did miss some throws this week.
It was all in the same sequence too. It was like
Yeah,
3
it was.
passes in a row. He like underthrew, overthrew.
But then he dropped that absolute dime to Dobbs
Yeah.
in the end zone at the end of the game.
It's like he's started a little bit games slower this year, to be honest.
Yeah.
Aside from the Tampa Bay one, but I have some stuff for that.
Oh yeah, we'll get
So
there.
we talk about
Sorry,
that.
I
That's the thing.
interjected.
So we have the Tampa Bay game, right? Where the Packers come out hot and then they stall in the second half. Then we get this first half where the Packers are down at halftime after the pick six. Have a great second half offensively. And they're still complaining. Like they're still complaining about the adjustments. It's like
We put up 27
scored
points. I get
way
it.
more in the second half than they did in the first half. Like, I'm not sure where the complaining is coming here. Robert, I mean, if I had to pick one good half, I'd rather play the second half well and win the game than to try to, rest on your first half lead, Mike McCarthy style.
Yeah.
And Christopher's right. Rodgers has such a high standard that people hold him to that. And anything less than the best that we've seen from Aaron Rodgers, people are going to start to think that he's on the decline, that he's getting old, that he's washed up. And we're 4 games in, Robert. So we're getting into, 25% of the season being over, technically not even because there's 17 games this year. So we'll see what happens there. I'm just gonna put this comment on there because it's gonna tie into one of the things that we shared on the show the other day, or on the page the other day, I should say. If you need it, there is a Rashawn Gary apology form available on the Wisco Fanatics page.
I love Demez's profile picture right now.
So I wanna go back to the Rodgers discussion real quick, and I want to go back to Chris's comment about Evan in a sec here. Talk about his standards. And I was in a debate before with a Lions fan talking about Lamar, because another Lions fan made a list and said Lamar is the best quarterback in the league right now. I'm like, he's not the best quarterback in the league. And he blew 2 10-point leads at home. Imagine if Aaron Rodgers blew 2 10-point leads at home. What would Packers fans be doing? They absolutely losing their fucking minds. I mean, we're winning games right now, and they're still losing their minds.
Yeah, we're winning, and they're losing their minds. So.
This is an MVP, too. Lamar Jackson won an MVP, and he's blowing leads at home, and people are still making excuses for him. I just don't understand why. I just want to understand people. It just makes no sense to me.
All right, so Bryant is doing the underrated performer this week, so I will let Bryant give us the underrated performer.
Okay, so I think this one, guys, will surprise you a little bit, but I'll explain why I picked him in a second. But I will say that it's not Reed and it's not Ford. And I think the reason I didn't pick them is both of them were getting a lot of love all week. Reed did play a really strong game, and Ford came in and stepped in and played well. But there's someone I've seen that people were like, oh, I expect more out of them. They're not playing all that well. And that player is A.J. Dillon. And I want to give you the reason why. Okay, so I've seen people saying that he's not playing that well. All right, so he had 70 carries for 73 yards. That's a 4.3 yards per carry. That's not bad, right?
That's good.
But the thing is, if you watch the game, A.J. Dillon's being asked a lot to run between the tackles and get the ugly yards. But one of the problems with this offense is when we get behind the sticks, we're in trouble. These are A.J. Dillon had about 7 carries on first down in this game. He had more than that, but 7 of his carries on first down went for 5, 7, 9, 5, 13, and 7. That's first down carries. So that's putting us. That. Yeah. So that's at least 6 times he put us, either gave us a first down or gave us a 2nd and 5 or shorter. He also had a reception for 11 yards in the game, first down. But here's where, for me, it really kind of pushed over the edge when I rewatched the second half of the game. In overtime, we got to what was field goal range, 46 yards. I don't know how you guys feel, but I haven't seen Crosby hit anything long this year, and it was windy out and going in that direction. So they got to 46, and they decided just to give the ball to Dillon 4 times. In those 4 carries, he went for 4, 3, 7, and 1. So he got us 15 yards closer, killed the rest of the clock, and made it a 31-yard field goal on that half and ended the game.
Bryant, hell of a job, buddy. That was fucking beautiful, man. That was awesome.
That's why
I'm
he's my
actually
underrated
proud of you.
performer.
So I also want to throw something out there too. AJ Dillon's been a beast of a pass blocker this year. Like, if you see him in pass protection, he's been a monster.
Well, if you go back to
he's
overtime,
been better than
too,
Jones has.
if you go back to overtime, Jones gets absolutely annihilated on like a corner blitz or something like that. I think that was right in overtime. And after that, it was Dillon the rest of the game for like protection and stuff. And like I said, then he pushed us right into that field goal range. That third down run for 7 yards was so big because then it let us carry that one. The 1-for-1 to end it was, I think it was more so just to get Crosby on the side of the field that he wanted to be on, and that was it.
Brian, did your wife make a YouTube account?
No. I guess just Deadman.
That's actually just me. That's me.
It'd be better if it said Deadman X69, but
I know.
Thank you. But yeah, that is why he's my underrated performer. Those carries on first down are so big. Think about that: 5, 7, 9, 5, 13, and 7. That's like
That's good.
That's
good
throughout
stuff.
the game. So, and I'll talk a little bit about some of those carries later on, and on our offense, kind of like what you were talking about. Like, it was just a couple sequences that just did not make sense to me.
So we're going to talk about the offense, the Packers offense against the Patriots defense. And I want to get back up to Eric's comment here because the offense stalling, it really comes down to one thing, and it has the last 2 games. And what Eric said, it's perfect, and it's something that we're probably going to harp on a lot on today's show. I would pretty much guarantee on it. He said they're doing good and scoring every drive. One mistake always ruins the momentum they had. And you could go back even to the San Francisco game in the playoffs. They need to get better at getting over it quickly. And I did actually put that in my notes when it came to the Packers offense with Romeo Doubs. As soon as he fumbled the ball, I wasn't like, oh my God, Romeo sucks. Rodgers isn't going to throw him the ball anymore, which that narrative that Rodgers won't throw to young receivers if they make a mistake, that narrative needs to just be gone. It's false. He's proved it's false. But the thing I wrote in my notes, I wasn't like, Romeo sucks. He needs to protect the ball. What I wrote in my notes is I want to see how Romeo Doubs responds. I want to see if his maturity shows or if he, if he hangs his head like a rookie. And to his credit, he got back in it. He made another play. He mossed a cornerback for the Patriots. He did have the drop in the end zone, but that's, he still responded even after that yet by being effective in overtime. So seeing Romeo Doubs still keep his head in the game and making plays after making the mistakes, that is the getting over it that we want to see. And I do appreciate seeing that from Romeo Doubs, especially with him being a rookie. Bernard said it in the comments too, that Rodgers was still clutch when he needed to be. And that's also true. So, it's Taylor. That's Taylor.
Yeah. Sorry, Taylor. Should have did 69. We would have recognized you.
So I'll let Bryant go first, seeing as he was last. So, Brian, what did you see from the Packers offense against the Patriots defense?
For me, it's like that ugly girl at the bar when you drink more, the further in the game it gets better looking. That's like, that was how I thought of it. Like, that was one of the first things I wrote down. I was like, what is going on in the first half? And like, as we, got further into the game, it got better. Like, it was just an extremely ugly first half is what I wrote down. Right. It was better in the second half.
Dying, bro.
So the pick six.
Oh my God.
Like, the pick six.
It's so true and like so relatable. I wasn't prepared for it.
Yeah. So
we are gonna have no women viewers.
Don't worry, the defense in the second half is when you sober up again.
Yep, between the ugly girl at the bar comment and the 69 jokes, we're gonna have just nothing but dudes watching this show.
Now I know why my friend won't watch this.
Well, if you want to say it can be for a girl at the ugly guy like me at the bar getting better looking the more they drink, right?
Oh my God.
But
that's be nothing but lesbians watching our show.
Yeah. Canceled.
I was just gonna say that too.
The pick six cannot happen. Like, it's just that kills us. But after the Romeo Doubs, we had a huge gain to Lazard right away, and then the fumble by Doubs. And to Aaron Rodgers' credit, he came out and said that was an ugly throw. I put it in really bad position. He had to reach out, make a hands catch. Didn't really have a chance to tuck it before he was stripped of it. And he said that Aaron Rodgers, I think in his post game or on the Pat McAfee show or whatever it was, he was like, I wish he would have dropped it because that was on me, like ugly throw. So the pick six can't happen. And there's a couple really ugly sequences. We got it to the New England 39, and we had two ugly plays, and then Rodgers takes a sack on third down. And it's like, don't take the sack there, buddy. If we gain a couple yards, we either go for it or take a long field goal attempt. So taking a sack at the 39 to push us out of, real long field goal range was too bad. And how I was talking about like Dillon getting a 7-yard carry. There's a sequence where immediately after the touchdown, right? AJ Dillon gets like a 7-yard carry, and then we go deep shot, and we punt. And then there was 4 out of 8 plays we threw the ball deep, and we had to punt both times. And one of the drives we had started getting rolling, and then we took some deep shots. And it's almost like we're trying to force it down the field too much, and I don't really understand that. So like I said, and then the second half was completely different, much more balanced with the drives. We had 10-play drive, an 8-play drive, a 9-play drive. And then the only play I didn't really like, the drive I didn't like was the last drive. And yeah, it's completely different if Dobbs catches that. But for me, we're already pushing to field goal range. We had one short run, and then we just throw it deep twice. I'm like, man, just get the 5 more yards or 10 more yards and kick the field goal and win the game in regular time. So it was awesome to watch the second half. We kept, our defense faltered a little bit, and we were able to punch it back. So that was good. And, it's just super ugly first half. We need to put a complete game together.
Yeah, and that's something. It seems like the Packers are trending upward, at least. There's a lot of teams that started hot and they're trending downward. The Packers at least started slow and are trending upwards. So the Packers are at least going in the right direction.
We scored 27 in 2 of our last 3 games or whatever. So
yeah, it's shaky, but like I said, going from a poor first half to a good second half shows the adjustments.
And I love the play. I love the 2 outplays to Dobbs and back to back in overtime. Like Aaron Rodgers, those are plays you can see that Aaron Rodgers, those are RPOs that he trusts. He's getting more and more trust with Dobbs. He steps back. Dobbs, obviously sees the adjustments, takes 2 steps outside, gets the ball and runs up, and you're in field goal range, and the rest is history.
And Isaac's bringing up the point that I wanted to bring up, that LaFleur made good adjustments.
Yeah.
Being able to do that against a Bill Belichick coach team, to have a better second half than Bill Belichick, that I think is actually something worth giving him some credit for, despite making the bad challenge call, which he fully admitted that he shouldn't have done.
He said that was an emotional one. So
yeah. What was that stat I sent way early in the week? It was like they won so many games in a row when they were ahead by 7 points.
The Patriots won, they were like
68 in a row or something crazy.
Yeah, they won 68 in a row when they were up by 7 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's
guess what they didn't get to because of the pass.
69, baby.
That's just so.
That's impressive. I won't lie. Yeah. That's very impressive. Obviously, a lot of that was with Brady, but still. Sure.
I think it was something wasn't 10 of the 16 games this past week, within one score, that ended within one score.
There was a lot of close games this weekend.
There were a lot of close games.
I don't even know what the final number was. Simon,
I remember watching Red Zone, and when they went to the witching hour on Red Zone, 8 of the 9 games were within one score.
Sheesh. That's crazy. Just to pile on a lot of what Bryant said too, it was a struggle in the first half. I think I read that was Rodgers' worst half of his career. He had 11 QBR, something sick, 4 for 11 for 44 yards and a pick 6. It was just, it was a struggle watching the offense in the first half. But Rodgers does what Rodgers does, and he had a near perfect second half. He was really solid, and it could have been better. And this offense is so weird. We're 6th in yards per game in the offense, but we're 21st in points per game. The only reason we have that much disparity between the two is just offensive miscues and turnovers. The Dobbs fumble, the Aaron Rodgers pick 6, the Dobbs dropped touchdown pass to ice the game. That stuff cannot happen against better teams. And I said this a lot last week too when I was harping on it for the offense not showing up in the second half. But on top of that, run game obviously solid, 35 carries, 199 yards, 5.7 yards per clip. And that run game really helped set up the Watson jet sweep for that touchdown.
I love that play.
He hit 20 miles an hour.
Dude, he's so
I'm
fast.
telling you, we need to get him the ball more on some drag routes or something. Like he needs the ball in his hands.
Wide receiver screens, bro.
Just something. I love that they're doing it. Like they're still getting the ball in his hand, but
I think slowly but surely he'll get more and more touches.
Look at Dobbs as an example. Like Dobbs had 2 catches each of the first 2 games.
Yeah.
And now he had 8 in week 3, and I don't even remember how many he finished with.
Sammy Watkins might not have a job to come back.
I think he was 5 for 47. Could be
5 for 47. And that back shoulder touchdown where Rodgers threw it over Jonathan Jones or towards Jonathan Jones, that was sick. That was it looked Adams-esque. Like they had that trust in each other.
Ability.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that dart in the middle of the field to Tunyon. I was like, that was such
that was a vintage Rodgers touchdown right there.
Yeah, 100%. I knew you were gonna say that because I felt the same way. I was like, that was Rodgers, bro. That was fucking Aaron Rodgers.
Jake, what did you see from the Packers offense? Unless Simon's got more.
I got more, man.
All right.
All day.
Go ahead if you got more. Go ahead.
I will say though, I feel like one of the things I was watching this week was Judon and Wise versus our tackles, and I feel like they didn't step up to the plate that well. Jenkins really struggled in pass protection.
Judon's a beast, but yes.
Yeah, Judon is a beast. I think he's a hell of a player, but he really struggled. He was super solid in run blocking though. But there was some talks by Matt LaFleur about moving Nyman over to right tackle. So I want to see there's discussions, not actual talks, but I want to see how that is because transitioning from left tackle to where he's exclusively played the last couple of years over to right isn't always an easy feat for a player. So we'll see how that comes to fruition over the next couple of weeks. But I mean, despite the struggles, they still only allowed 1 sack and 1 QB hit. Time of possession was another thing I kind of harped on a lot last week, was to keep it in our favor, and that was really not the case this week. It was really close, except for like overtime when we had two possessions. They only had 1. That's all I got.
All right. I just saw Robert brought up that they need to get Bobby more involved. Mm-hmm. Through 8 games last year, he had 18 receptions. Through 4 games this year, he has 13. So he is getting more involved. He's more involved than he was last year. And keep in mind, he's back early-ish from his ACL as well. A lot of people might have expected him to start the year on the PUP list or at least missed a couple of games and not be back right away.
Did you guys see what Shady McCoy said about Rodgers? He said he's a Rodgers hater. I'm not sure.
I didn't see what he said.
I haven't seen it.
In my mind, just add him to the fucking list of Rodgers haters.
Yeah. Everyone hates Rodgers.
Except for OBJ.
From like jealousy.
Yeah. John did bring that up in the comments. He said OBJ is coming to play for the Packers. Don't want him.
I'll really take OBJ. You guys are nuts if you don't want OBJ.
Who would you drop?
Sammy
Watkins. Easy.
I think
I'll drop Amari Rodgers too. We're getting Kylan Hill back. Kylan Hill can go back there and catch kicks and punts.
I was going to talk about that a little bit later, but now
I don't know that Sammy Watkins.
I don't think they're going to let him return kicks right away, coming off of the ACL.
And he's a little ways away, but I think Sammy.
That was the way he got hurt too.
I think Sammy Watkins probably has a limited role to come back to already. To be honest,
I think so too.
I agree.
Because there's too much upside with it. If you think about the way Cobb is playing and our other 3 main that have been on the field, there's just too much upside with him.
Yeah, and he's not going to be back until late November at the earliest.
Really? He's available after this week, I think, or next week.
He's available, but is he going to be ready that soon? He tore his ACL in the Super Bowl.
What do you have?
February.
You have
I'm talking Sammy Watkins.
Sammy Watkins, he's eligible.
Next week is his last week on the
6. He's eligible week 7.
Yeah.
So 2 more weeks yet.
Maybe I'll see him when I go to. That's the game I'm going to here in Washington. So.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. So, Jake, what did you see from the Packers offense in this game?
So I hear a lot of people talking bad about the Packers offense in the first half. Understandably so. They were horrible. We still managed 443 total yards. It's a pretty good day.
Insane.
Like Simon said, 199 rush yards. Over 5 yards a carry. We're gashing them with the run. 6 of 14 on third down. It's not horrible. Could be better. I'm actually
almost
okay.
50%. I mean, I'll take it.
I'm actually okay with that. Right. The 1-for-1 on fourth down. Obviously, I like that. And almost 37 minutes of time of possession. That means we were owning them. And Rodgers was bad in the first half. Yes. That throw that he threw to Dubs, he's got to fucking catch that, bro. That was in the fucking bucket. Like, you got to catch that. And I understand, Rodgers not being upset with him dropping it, but that's one later in the year when we're, Jair is playing on Sunday. Later in the year when we're pushing for playoff positioning, Rodgers is going to go back to Dubs on a play like that, and he's got to be able to finish that. So that's the thing that I'm looking for. I understand, you guys talking about him.
Did you see what LaFleur said about that?
No, what did he say?
He said that they talked to him in the locker room, and after the game, that when it's in that type of situation, that he needs to turn his body and fall onto his back or shoulder. So they've already started coaching him up and teaching him how to fall. And it's such a hard thing because this catch rule, we could go on a huge debate about this. So you're saying if he would just reach the ball like this, it's a catch before he falls to the ground. The dude had 2 feet in, a knee hit the ground, and an elbow hit the ground. So it's just rough.
And he tucked it. And he tucked it. He went like this and he tucked it.
Rough. I'll tell you this: Devontae Adams had one that they called a touchdown last year. That was a lot like he didn't control it very long at all. I think it was against Cincinnati, and I couldn't believe they upheld it. I don't know if y'all remember that play, but
do you remember a play when we went to Washington? This was a while back. Kirk Cousins was actually still there, and Rodgers threw a pass to Jordy Nelson. He literally caught it and went like this, and as he was turning, the ball got knocked out, and they called it a touchdown.
Yeah,
it's
I remember that.
I don't know what a catch is anymore.
Yeah.
But if they call it not a catch,
it's different when you're going to the ground though versus when you're possessing the ball.
Right.
My thing was he wasn't going to the ground when he caught it. He got tackled after he caught it and then went to the ground. But it is what it is. I mean, he just needs to. They're taught. He did come up. LaFleur said that they're teaching him hey, just fall to the side or whatever, which sucks. Full speed on your damn shoulder or whatever. But
David, we're going to talk about.
I'll wipe my boo-boos with my hundreds.
Preview, but we're going to switch from the Packers offense to the Packers defense, and I was keeping track of this statistic through the entire game. After I saw it in the beginning of the game, and I kept track of it through the entire game, and this streak is active. The Packers have not allowed a conversion on 3rd and 8 yards or longer.
Oh, yeah. I saw that.
Opponents are 0 for 21
That's
in
sick.
3rd and 8 or longer.
Don't they have the best third down defense far and away in the league?
Yeah.
Yes, by 2 full conversions per game. Yes.
Yeah.
I have more stats when we get on third down, but from this game, 0 for 21 on 3rd and 8 or longer.
That's pretty damn good.
Wow. That's insane, honestly. We'll see. All 4 games have been kind of a struggle at the opening drive. They went from allowing touchdowns to allowing field goals, so they're trending in the right direction, sort of like their second half adjustments. The second drive, the Patriots had Adrian Amos made a really good open field tackle, and then the third down sack by Rashawn Gary. I think that was the one that actually knocked out Brian Hoyer. Fourth drive, Darnell Savage made a great play on a screen to go in and get the open field tackle again. And then we're talking about Rashawn Gary again. Strip sack and the recovery. That's
the trifecta.
Just insane.
He's elite.
So
he could recover that thing with his thighs, and they couldn't pull it away from him. He was squeezing it like a damn watermelon. Did you see it?
Yeah.
The only other complaint I really had about the I should say I have two complaints, I guess, about the Packers defense. And it's more, one of them is a judgment thing, and it's Kenny Clark's penalty. You just got to be smarter than to take an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
Well, wasn't that kind of like I don't want to say BS because I get it, but like it happens all the time.
It happens all the time. And
I mean, he got it for,
but
I mean, I agree. I get it.
It's an unsportsmanlike penalty.
With the head.
But dude, Aaron Donald has, the last two times the Packers have played the Rams, Aaron Donald has literally put a hand to one of our offensive linemen's throats. Both of the last two times Packers and Rams played.
Okay.
Aaron Donald's a golden child. He can beat people with helmets, but since it's practice, it doesn't matter.
I was going to say, which one of those two guys gets put on the NFL commercials? Aaron Donald or Kenny Clark?
Yeah. Hey, Kenny Clark is in a commercial now about cancer. I don't know if you noticed that, but yeah.
I didn't.
They said NFL commercial.
Yeah, it's an NFL commercial.
Oh, is it really?
Is it?
I never seen that one.
For intercept cancer.
That's why I was going to say that's why Bryant's wearing his cancer T-shirt.
I did not see that.
No. And the other one is, for something that I'd like to see improve is Eric Stokes when it comes to play action. That's what I want to see Eric Stokes improve in the play action game. Aaron Donald, he gets away with a lot, but it is what it is. Jake, what did you see from the Packers defense against the Patriots offense?
The one thing I didn't see is the one thing I want to see on Sunday is adjustments in the run game. So we're playing a backup quarterback to start the game, and then we're playing the backup's backup, and that's all anybody's talking about is playing a third-string quarterback. When you have a quarterback that's inexperienced on the road, his first game at Lambeau, like that's got to be intimidating. 12 is on the other sideline, right? So you're going to have to try to match him blow for blow. Why would you not put more beef up front? I don't understand why didn't make that adjustment. Other than that, I thought they played well. 3 for 11 on third down, 271 total yards, only 104 passing. Again, backup quarterback, but 167 rush yards and allowing them to hold the ball for 33 minutes. It just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I know that we're supposed to be optimistic and positive, but that shit really bothered me watching that. That's all I got.
Simon, what did you see from the Packers defense?
A lot of what Jake just said. I had a lot of the same notes, but you got all right. So I want to phrase it this way to Packer fans, just since I'm trying to keep it optimistic too. I know the run defense seems a little sketchy, over 5 yards per clip for them. But think about it this way: that defense only allowed 17 points. I take that. I take that every week.
Honestly, should have been 10 too when you factor in the delay of game.
True. I mean,
could have been 10.
It could have been
13.
Or 13.
Could have been 13. They probably would have made the
field
sure.
goal range.
That's fair. Yep, 13.
Sure.
That's fair.
So I take 17 points every week. Every week, I'll take that. But defense phenomenal first half. Gary's a monster. I'll just say that again. I thought Kenny Clark was a little disappointing this week. Not up to his usual self. Feel like he got kind of manhandled at the point of attack sometimes, and it just seemed like he was absent from the game.
They have a good center though, and they definitely keyed on Kenny.
So that offensive line is pretty good. Like they're still pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Preston had a pretty solid game, I think, but sometimes I felt like he couldn't hold the edge on some of those run plays real well. I feel like inside linebacker has been kind of disappointing this year. They each missed
up and down. Is what I'm feeling from Clay and Campbell. I'm feeling up and down.
Yeah, it's up and down. But if you're coming off of first team All Pro, it just doesn't seem like he's kind of playing up to that level. And I think a lot of people expected maybe some regression by Tyler, but some regression. But Campbell, I feel like Campbell's struggling a little bit this year. He's not in as much plays and. Oh, man, I saw a thing earlier.
He had 4 missed tackles all last year. He already has 6 this year.
Yeah. He missed one this game. I was looking at a stat, and I wish I had wrote it down. But between Quay Walker and Devondre Campbell, the average depth of their tackles was for the Patriots game was 4.8 and 6.7.
Oh.
It was really bad. I was like, ooh. So I feel like they both struggled super hard to get off their blocks and just got caught downfield a lot. Secondary, I mean, they played pretty solid for the most part. I feel like Stokes kind of got picked on a little bit, as much as we can say for their wide receiving core
104
and
yards.
Bailey Zappi. Yeah, he gave up the most out of the secondary. And then that's that delay of game penalty that didn't get called. I wasn't sure if the defense just expected it to be called, so they kind of lazed a little bit on the play, but still.
That's what it looked like, because it looked like a bunch of the guys stopped straight.
I wonder if the Packers need to change it. I noticed this. I don't know if y'all noticed it. Did you notice the clock hit 0 and then 1 second later it went to 40 again and started counting down? I wonder if if the ref looks up and sees that, he's like, oh, there's time on the clock. I wonder if they should change up their clock process, and you know what I mean, like, because they got to reset it to 25 anyway after the play or whatever is over. They should probably just leave it at double zeros. But
I'm sure the referee is getting like notified at like 10 seconds, like, hey, watch the clock.
But
how do you get notified and then it goes to 40?
They had an issue last night with I think it was the Colts where they had to hurry. Matt Ryan was like looking around like, what the hell just happened to the play clock? I don't know. That's kind of what I got for the defense this week.
So this is something that I've picked up on, besides picking on Eric
about the
Stokes.
defense, Tyler?
No, you don't get to talk. Go ahead.
All right, yeah. So since no one said this, I gotta say it. Like, it's so vanilla. I can't stand it anymore. Like, it's not even like Blue Bunny vanilla where it's a nice cream colored, like good tasting vanilla. It's like Our Family vanilla, like that it's white ice cream that has no flavor.
Great value.
The Blue Bunny.
Exactly. I don't understand when Bill Belichick comes in and adds a sixth lineman to the pretty much every snap because Jonnu Smith. Tight end got hurt. Jonnu Smith got hurt. You're still playing too high shell. To Simon's point, they're talking about Walker and Campbell making tackles way down the field. Yeah, that's because they have a sixth lineman in there and we're not making adjustments. Why are you playing too high shell against someone that is making his first playing time in Green Bay? You should be throwing some run blitzes. They're going to run it. That's the only way they can do anything against us is running the ball. So why are you playing too high? I don't understand it. And I'm wondering if one of the reasons they signed Eric Wilson is special teams, but I wonder if they're like, we need another linebacker because these teams are just running on us. At this point,
the thing that bothers me with that is that they have the defensive line depth too.
Yeah. Make an adjustment. And Matt LaFleur came out and said something about it. Like, we need to put more in the box, or we need to play better against the run. Like, eventually he needs to tell Barry, like, get out of this stupid too high zone. You're letting him pick us apart, pressure him, and stop the run. And
I will say Matt LaFleur kind of not called him out, but he mentioned it in the media.
That's what I'm saying. So he said something, and I feel like he said something previously about it. So I don't know if Eric Wilson is going to really play, or maybe it's all special teams. The poor dude was just in London last weekend, flew home, got signed by the Packers, and now flew back to London. So he was on the
poor guy gets to go to London.
Well, yeah, but I mean that's a lot of travel.
Millions of dollars. I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, where's the adjustments? Like the second half defense is like when you wake up from that bar night, right? You realize who you're next to. Like, they had such a good first half, 3 points, and then the second, like, what are they doing? And I heard today that. So you remember last week when I gave you the stat about 104 rushing yards on the one drive or whatever? The Packers have given up 500 yards rushing this year. 200 of those yards have come on 4 drives, 2 against the Bears and 2 against the Patriots. So they have the ability to play run defense. It's like they just let it collapse. I just don't understand.
But
I had to get that off my chest. I'm sick of the vanilla crap, and they better change it for this freaking game because it's the same thing. There's only one way for the Giants to beat us.
I got a question for you.
What's up?
Since Amos went out of the game, right?
Put some damn sprinkles and chocolate on the vanilla. Okay?
Hey, settle down, chocolate. Since Amos went out of the game, Rudy Ford came in, right? And Amos is usually the guy you slide down into the box to add that extra defender. Who are you? What, are you going to send Rudy Ford down in the box? Because they're not putting another lineman in.
Put another defensive
Are you putting Savage down in the box?
TJ Slayton in the box.
Yeah.
Okay, but then you have to take off a linebacker.
I don't give that.
What linebacker are you taking off?
That's fine. I'm not scared. I wasn't scared of their backup.
I feel like.
Yeah.
But what linebacker are you taking off? You taking Quay Walker off the field?
Sure.
No, you take Ford off the field and you put a defensive lineman and you leave your one single high safety and make him and tempt him to throw it deep.
Come on, it's the NFL. You don't just play single high for a whole half.
You also
I don't
don't
care
play
if it's the
coverage
backup
when they
quarterback.
have 6 offensive linemen and 2 tight ends or whatever on the field when they're
If
clearly
Bailey
running all the
Zappi
time.
beats us, so
We have-
be it.
So we have what 3 first-round draft picks in our secondary. Let them play their person and stop the run because the run is the only thing that they have going for them.
Keep in mind there was no Jair.
I don't care. They're
Yeah,
playing
I'd still chase
Aguilar and Devontae Parker.
They're playing Bill Belichick, who's gonna call the shit out.
Bill Belichick ain't out there throwing the ball. When
when
Bill
the job for a
Zappe-
coach is to put your
45
players in the right
touchdowns his
position
senior
to
year in
succeed,
college.
right?
I get it that Zappi was good in college, but when he was
And that's
freshman, he
fine,
was
but
throwing
when
that
we're not
ball straight to the
succeeding
ground.
against the run,
I'm just saying, make some changes. I don't say you have to even maybe it doesn't work, but just get out of too high and see what happens for one of those drives when they're going up.
I
and
agree
down.
with you. I
especially
just
on
wanted
the
to ask
early
some
downs.
questions. I just wanted to see where you were at. I agree
especially
with you.
on the early downs.
I agree with you.
It's just
Gotta
too vanilla.
figure some shit out, dude. I agree.
And that's just a preview of what I'll be saying for my. You'll see my match.
Yeah, I was gonna go into a lot of that
I won't
during the
say anything
preview.
for the next one. I'll just let you
So,
go.
just to clarify on your analogy, Bryant, so the second half is like the post-nut clarity.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate you, bro.
It's when you sober up and you.
that one.
Brian started it. When Brian said that, and he's like, the second half is like when you wake up from the morning after that. It's like, that's why I just sat with my head in my hands for 45 seconds. Because that's the first thing I thought of. And you brought that evil on me, Doug Judy.
Brian, we can't hang out, bro. You're a bad influence.
Yes,
Hey, I
that's
just
a
say
Brooklyn
comments. You got
Nine-Nine
that
reference
on.
for those of you that don't get it. Oh my god! All right, so
Daily sign.
now I'm gonna go to my what can the Packers improve because
It's like that meme
I want to give Pat O'Donnell credit first for making a great punt after the dropped touchdown by Dobbs. Pat O'Donnell made a great punt, and then this ties into what the Packers can improve. I think it's time to try Pat O'Donnell on kickoffs. The Packers have the lowest touchback percentage in the league. Only 31% of the Packers' kickoffs result in touchbacks.
I'm surprised it's that much, to be honest.
This was the first game I noticed the special teams bent a little bit on returns more than I would like to see.
I mean, when you catch the ball at the 10-yard line, that helps.
Yeah. Does O'Donnell have any? I know it was windy. Does O'Donnell have any? Did he kick off with the Bears? I don't know. If
I
he
have
has
no
any
idea,
conditioning.
but I think it's time to find out.
Yeah. I will
I'm
say
not
it's
sure.
hard watching a game and you see a different game and you see their kicker kick like a 59-yard field goal and it says would have been good from 64. I'm like, when we were at the Packers game, I watched Mason Crosby's warm up and he was like, I love the dude, but
It's not ideal.
So Pat O'Donnell 2019 had 15 kickoffs,
You bastard.
and 10 of them
touchdown.
went for touchbacks. Or touchbacks.
there you go, Simon. Look at that.
Yeah, I just
I
had
can
that
look
up
That's a
too, buddy.
66% clip.
Jake's like, I
We
don't know
should've
how
got one
to
more.
figure out how to work the
We got
Google and the
69.
internet machine.
Yeah.
No, he just talked for me.
Oh, you found it right away, too?
Yeah, I said Pat O'Donnell kickoffs.
Apparently you played kicker in high school, too.
David, I don't have a problem with Amari on returns. I really don't. I think he's been decent, actually, as far as returning.
I've seen a lot of people kind of crap on him lately, though.
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with him. You didn't do anything wrong.
I mean, he had a muff punt during one game, but
Yeah.
That was
one
because
game.
he had to
Yeah,
run
Randall Cobb had a
35
muff punt
yards
last
to
year,
get under
too.
it. He's
And
just
he
got
had
much
to
just-
put his
of
eye
a-
out for it.
I don't think he's bad. I just think people expect more out of like a kick returner.
Yeah, I'm fine with him, honestly. The one fair catch that he had, the Packers planned that one.
Yeah.
That was planned fair catch when he was by himself. That was a planned fair catch so the Packers could bleed more clock.
Bring back
Just
Deshaun
get the ball
Jackson.
back into the hands of your offense. You don't want to pull a Ty Montgomery situation where you try to return a kick that you don't need to return and then you end up fumbling.
I still
Ugh.
hate that fucker for that.
Was that the
dude.
Rams? Was
It
that
was
the
the
Rams?
Yeah,
Rams.
dude. We were like 3-3, and the Rams were like 6-1 or something like that.
Yeah.
And we should have beat them in LA.
All right, so let's switch it up. I'm going to let Bryant give the Packers and Giants injury report.
All
All
right.
right, so this is ugly for the Giants,
Except for the
not as
Longs.
ugly for us. So the only people for us that are questionable is Wyatt, but he practiced, didn't practice, and he practiced again. So I feel like he has a good chance to play. Tariq Carpenter also listed as questionable. But the one that I'm kind of interested in most is Amos, and I think he plays because I don't think they bring him to
practice.
If
They said he cleared protocols to
yeah,
practice. So
if they weren't pretty positive he was going to play, I don't think they even risk flying him to London. And he was on the sideline on Wednesday already, going through just running off the sideline. Thursday practice, Friday practice. So I feel pretty confident.
After the game on Sunday that that he was like all good and things like that.
Yeah, I wonder if he was in concussion protocol, but maybe it was when I watched it, he got hit like on the side of the head neck area on that play. So maybe they were just being over cautious. So maybe it wasn't very severe.
That's the talk
mild.
of the league right now.
Yeah, and you can see it. They're very cautious. Like that was a scary moment watching Naeem Hines get up yesterday. I don't know if you all seen that. Like the dude did not know where he was at.
It's also encouraging because Amos got up and walked to the bench himself. Like he understood what was going on.
So I think he plays. Now for the Giants, everyone's talking about our wide receiver core. I think they're down to 5, 6, and 7 on their depth chart, right? So they have a defensive back, Cordell Flott out. Kenny Galladay is out. Aziz Ojolari is out, which is kind of a big loss for them. Wan'Dale Robinson, everyone's like, oh, he's good enough. He'll play. Nope, he's not playing. Tyrod Taylor is out with his concussion. Kadarius Toney didn't even head over there, hurt his other hamstring. And then Leonard Williams, which would be a big loss for them too, he's questionable, but I think he'll play. So yeah, they're really, really banged up at the wide receiver position. So we'll see what our defense does. Just that.
So this ties in well because David just made a comment on the Packers offense, saying that he'd like to see Christian Watson return kicks. I have zero interest in that. I want to see Christian Watson spending 110% of his focus on offense. And that's why I think they're keeping Amari Rodgers not really on the field on offense, except when it's like an emergency situation basically. But Amari Rodgers, they have him just on special teams, telling him focus on just special teams. Watson, I want focusing on just offense because he's going to be, as the weeks go on, he's going to be a more and more important part of the offense. Christian Watson, I would really like to see him up to speed by the time we start playing Philadelphia, Buffalo. Those two teams, those are the games where we're going to need to be able to stretch the field, especially against both of them who have good defenses. Buffalo's a little bit banged up on their defense. Micah Hyde is on IR, unfortunately, but Christian Watson is going to need to be able to give this offense a new wrinkle, and it's going to need to be the deep shot. We can score a touchdown from any down and distance. So I want Christian Watson focusing on nothing but being healthy and playing offense. So, Bryant, I'll let you. Actually, no, you did the injury report, so I'll let Simon go first. What are you looking for from the Packers offense against the Giants defense in the first ever London game?
So honestly, these teams are pretty similar from the Patriots and Giants, and probably how we'll end up playing them. The Giants are very susceptible to the run. They're allowing 5.1 yards per carry this year. Overall defense, they're not bad. They're 9th in points allowed. I think this is just another team where it's going to be, if we play the pass rush really well, then this offense could take flight.
The Giants are 19th in pass rush win rate.
That's a good one. But Thibodeau's, coming out, he's a solid player. Leonard Williams, if he plays, he's just that dude is so monstrous. And Dexter Lawrence can also kind of be a handful at times. He's like a bigger version of Kenny Clark.
I want to give you just a counterpoint to that whole section there. There is no player on the Giants that has more than one sack, despite the Giants having the third most blitzes in the NFL.
I was going to say they blitz at like a 40% clip too.
Third highest blitz rate in the NFL, and no player on their team has more than one sack.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Rashawn Gary has 5.
And what was that? I don't know. And Rodgers is number 1 in the NFL against the. I think I said that last week, but yeah, another blitzing team, and kind of just like in their secondary, Dory Jackson's kind of the guy you have to watch out for.
So they got desperate enough to bring Landon Collins,
but their linebackers are rough.
If you get to a point where
they have Jalen Smith
can't even be on your team anymore, like.
So I feel really good about our ability to run the ball, set up the play action, give some shots to Dobbs and Lazard, let Randall Cobb work that middle of the field, get Bobby involved. Honestly, I just feel like the Packers offense just out talents the Giants defense by a pretty good margin.
Say brother and Jalen Smith too. Jake, what are you looking for from the Packers offense against the Giants defense?
So I knew one of you was going to bring up the points. So Simon, you brought up that they're 9th in points and they gave up 17.8. The last 2 quarterbacks they played is Cooper Rush and Justin Fields.
It's still my thunder, man.
Sorry, man.
The two before that, Tannehill and Mayfield. Who have they played?
Nobody. Nobody. You can add all of them together and they still all suck ass. That's how I feel.
I like Tannehill like 2 years ago.
Yeah, Tannehill now though. Yeah.
COVID year Tannehill was good.
He had a solid game versus the Colts.
The Colts suck.
Okay. And
what are you talking about? They put up a whole 12 points.
The Colts suck.
They held Russell Wilson to 9.
The Colts beat the Chiefs, so they have that to their credit.
Yeah, that is true.
The Packers, for being 21st in points, are 6th in total yards in the NFL. So they average 377.5 yards per game, and they only average 18.8 points. I think, and Tyler brought this up a long time ago, and I hope you're proud of me for this. The law of averages is gonna even out.
Attaboy.
Eventually all those yards that we're getting, we're gonna stop with the miscues, and the points per game is gonna go up, and people are gonna stop bitching so much. That's what I feel, that we're gonna get on the right track here. Now, I know it's really hard not to look ahead, right? Like we looked ahead to this Giants game because it was in London. It's going to be really hard not to look ahead and see the Jets next week, but that jet lag is going to be real. So I want us to take it one game at a time. Yeah, I didn't try to do that on purpose, but I think take it one game at a time. But I think this is a game that can get the offense back on track. And Rodgers talked about it. He said he wants to air it out. So let's see what he's got. Maybe this is the game that Watson catches that 75-yarder.
Man, I was so close on that call. I was so close on that call. For
you brought up Aaron Rodgers. I just got to say this real quick. Aaron Rodgers is currently completing 69% of his passes.
Yeah. Let's go.
Let's go.
I'm not done. There will be more. Bryant, what are you looking for from the Packers?
6.9 yards per attempt.
So Jake's still month under a little bit with the 17.8. So good job there. Like they have not the quarterbacks they have played are Tannehill, who doesn't normally he has an okay completion percentage. Mayfield, Cooper Rush, who's probably the best out of all 4 of them, and Fields, right? And Fields probably brought that completion percentage against them because they're only allowing a 57.4 completion percentage. Yeah, that's because that's like Fields' average to anyone he plays against. Like, so
he would be lower than that if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, it probably is. So, and Mayfield's not a high average person either. Cooper Rush is probably struggling a little bit, right? So the thing with their defense is, they've only given up those points and they're holding really crappy quarterbacks to a low percentage, but they're 6th lowest in the league, allowing 12.1 yards per reception, and they're the 2nd lowest in the league, allowing 5.1 yards per rush. So right there, that tells you they're a bottom 5 defense, and the stats ain't telling the whole story in this one. To a certain degree. So I agree. The one thing they have done a lot, and I hope Dobbs and stuff is paying attention to this, they have forced 6 fumbles that they've recovered this year. So they have 0 interceptions, but they have recovered 6 fumbles. Granted, some of those come from, the Bears playing hot potato at the end of the game last week. But I completely think that we should be able to overmatch this defense, especially with a couple injuries they have. And this is really there's no excuse this game. Like, I think we need to put it together and have a really solid full game against them.
Yeah, make a bit of a statement.
I mean, the excuse would be the travel and everything, and so it's possible, but yeah.
So, a couple things I want to bring up. The Packers are currently averaging 34 minutes of time of possession. That's a pretty solid number. Converting 42.5% of third downs, which is pretty solid. So, like Jake mentioned, they were 6 of 14 last week. I will take that. That's nearly 50%. The Packers have 5 wide receivers over 100 yards. And then they have Aaron Jones at 81 and A.J. Dillon, who has 69 receiving
Let's
yards.
go.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
I'm a man of the people. So, the Packers, we've talked about it. I know I've harped on it. I probably said it 3 times an episode, but the Packers are really built on balance. There's really nobody who's running away with that quote-unquote wide receiver 1 role. They are continuing to just spread the ball around, which is what I was really hoping for. And we're only 4 games into this, and one of those games we didn't have Allen Lazard, and now 2 of those games we haven't had Sammy Watkins. So there's still some identity being found here in this passing game. And I think where we talked about earlier as kind of a negative with Rodgers underthrowing Dobbs and then overthrowing, I think he overthrew Lazard, and then I think he overthrew Watson. The Packers are still kind of trying to figure this offense
He
out.
underthrew Watson.
He underthrew Watson? Okay.
Watson was like Randy Moss on that motherfucker. He was gone.
So, that's almost kind of a way you can frame that their offense is still trying to figure itself out a little bit. So I wanted to throw that out there as a possibility because it's not all new wide receivers, but Randall Cobb is now elevated to a higher role without Devontae Adams here. Allen Lazard takes over the quote-unquote wide receiver 1 role, and then you have 2 rookies and a free agent brought into the wide receivers room. So there's a lot of new pieces there. That's going to take a little bit of figuring out. So when we're talking about the slow start from the offense, I think there's a little bit of reason for that, and I'm willing to be patient for probably about another week or 2 before it starts to be getting like, okay, we've had 6 weeks of this. Now we need to start seeing better improvement. So that's something I'm going to be looking for from the Packers offense. But what are I'll let you go first. What's the matchup that you're watching for the Packers offense against the Giants defense?
So we kind of talked about a little bit earlier, I think this is the week where we have Big Bob really come on, have a really, really strong game where he could have 6 or 7 catches for 69 yards and a touchdown.
6 catches on 9 targets for 69 yards.
Nice.
So I'm looking
and 69 touchdowns.
I'm looking at Big Bob versus their linebacking core. I think
that's a good one. Brian, what's the matchup you're watching for on the Packers offense?
So were you done, Simon?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So I'm actually just watching Rodgers versus secondary. There's I think if we can settle in quickly in this game and he can start, and he did say, and I wrote this down before he said I want to air it out. We'll see if he's actually just playing games with them. And they're going to run the ball, but I'm watching him versus the secondary because, like I said, they are allowing 12.1 yards per completion. And I think if we can get up early and get a couple score lead, it's going to put the Giants out of their game plan, and they're going to be in serious trouble. If Jones is throwing to Darius Slayton, who was a nice player a couple of years ago, but they obviously just hate him now or whatever for whatever reason.
He's had some injuries too.
Yeah, with how decimated they're at the wide receivers position, if we're forcing them to throw the ball, they're going to be in trouble. They're going to run some, couple tight end sets. They have a couple nice tight ends on their team, but none of them are world beaters. So I just think that if Rodgers versus secondary, if he can pick on these people, the only cornerback that on their team that's even having an okay year is Morrow or Fabian Morrow. He's got a high, if you go off PFF grades, he's the only one that's had a decent year really for the most part. So I think there's going to be a lot to pick on. I know Simon mentioned Adoree Jackson, but he doesn't scare me either. So I just think
he doesn't scare me either, but
yeah,
I think he's the only one worth really noting.
This should be a game if Aaron Rodgers can come out.
Pretty good.
If Aaron Rodgers can come out and hit his targets, not have those couple ugly throws early in the game we've seen pretty much every game, I think we could really run away with this.
He'll hit on
mine
those eventually. Like I wouldn't bet against Aaron Rodgers to
Mine
continue
is Rodgers versus
missing
secondary.
receiver.
Exactly. I think this is the game. Like if we're gonna see a deep touchdown, I think this is it. So.
Jake, what's the matchup that you're watching from the Packers offense versus the Giants defense?
Aaron Jones. He's been the guy. He's been the guy to get us going. Been the guy that's been the most consistent, in my opinion, on the offense. So I'm watching Aaron Jones. Let's get him going again. Let's get over 100 and get him another touchdown because he's the best running back in the North, right? Just wanted to,
throw that out there.
Start that conversation again. Just saying.
Now I'm for it.
As he's playing right
what
now,
you're saying is that Aaron Jones is reliable.
Yeah, like he plays like all the time, and he's good. Yeah,
not quite
like
all reliable, but he's reliable. Yeah.
I gotta. We had a bunch of the Randall Cobb memes this week, so we had the Randall Cobb all reliable meme today. Randall Cobb is the matchup that I'm watching. The Giants have actually been a sneaky good third down team. Like we've Jake and Bryant and Simon have mentioned the quarterbacks they've played against. So those stats can be a little inflated for the Giants defense, but Randall Cobb is the third down killer. He's the third down all reliable. He's the in case of emergency, break the glass and get Randall Cobb. We mentioned before that 5 of his 6 receptions last week, he's got 5 receptions for first downs. He's tied for ninth in the NFL in third down receptions that result in first downs. He's got 6 receptions on third downs. 5 of them are conversions, and the 6th one that wasn't a conversion was the one that he tried to lateral to Elton Jenkins. That was his only catch on third down that did not result in a first down.
Crazy.
So let's switch to the Packers defense side of the ball. So the Packers are currently – I got more for you guys. I'm not done. The Packers are currently 7th in points per game allowed. They're allowing 17.3 points per game. Packers, through 4 games, have allowed a grand total of 69 points.
I knew it was coming when you started with it.
I saw that earlier when I was looking at it. I knew it was going to come up.
I was doing my research for this game, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going all in. We're just going to find them all.
Crazy how many there are, really, when you think about it. Holy shit.
I know. It's going to be like 69 jokes in this episode. So the Packers are also 5th in yards per game allowed, which is kind of skewed by the rushing. The Giants might be 3-0, but they're 18th in points per game. The Giants are only averaging 19 points a game, and they're 22nd in yards.
Yep.
They're number 1 in rushing, but still 22nd in total yards.
They're 31st in passing.
So the other thing, Packers are allowing only 8.8 yards per completion, which is 7th in the NFL. They're number 5 in sack percentage at 9.4%. So just shy of 10% of plays, Packers are getting a sack. They're averaging 2.8 sacks per game. Now, Packers have the number 1 third down defense in the NFL as well. They're allowing only 23.8% of third downs converted, which is insane. That's like I brought up that in the recap, the 0 for 21 on 3rd and 8 or longer. They're also number 1 in opponent third down conversions per game, only allowing 2.5 third down conversions per game. 2.5.
That's insane.
I think the Giants are number 2, and they're at like 4.8. They're tied with 2 other teams, I believe. So that said, I wanted to go first in the defense because I just want to be the first person to say stack the box.
Damn it, that's exactly what I had written down.
That's the main thing. I told you guys I had one.
It's all
thing
capital
that I
letter
wanted
right
to say
there.
about
Load the
Packers
box.
defense. Just
Like I'm doing
stack
later.
The box.
Just gonna make that joke too.
God damn it, man.
God.
Hey, I gotta get all the jokes out in case our special guest makes it next week. We gotta be on our P's and Q's, right? So
Oh,
He's gonna watch us and be like,
don't
"I'm not
get-
going on
don't
that
get
show."
Jake going. If Jake starts laughing super hard, we're gonna be all here laughing for 15 minutes.
I'm holding it in, bro. I'm holding it in. You guys won't like my real laugh. It'll make you laugh.
Oh, there will be real
like
tears
that,
shed
like that
if
video
Jake
I
gets
sent you.
laughing
Simon.
just a little bit harder.
Oh god.
Oh shit, that's awesome. Simon, what are you looking for from the Packers defense against the Giants offense?
Stack the box. Obviously, Saquon's just a monster. He looks like he's back to his old self. Packers are giving up 5.5 yards per rush, 24th in the league. That just it makes me cringe. So I want it's gross. So I'm looking for us to play a lot more 3-down linemen. I want to see TJ Slayton get on the field, take up that space in the middle, because God, it just last week was just so frustrating to watch our defensive line. Other than that, just make Daniel Jones. I mean, I assume Daniel Jones is going to play. He's kind of dealing with an ankle injury a little bit. He's probably going to play. So just make him beat us through the air with their top 3 or 4 receivers out. The dude hasn't thrown for over 200 yards this year. He's the NFC East version of Justin Fields.
God damn it! I wanted to go first. You fucker. I have a dig on the Bears though.
Okay, I'll wait for it. He's also been pressured on almost 50% of his dropbacks.
Ugh.
Good Lord.
That's gross. So, I'll get there. With his ankle injury, what was it? What was the game last year where he had like an ankle injury or something, and like it inhibited his rush ability? He just got absolutely massacred. I can't remember.
I would expect that to happen in any game. He has an ankle injury.
True, but
I mean, sometimes he just gets grabbed by the grass.
I'll be honest. I haven't watched a lot of Giants games because they're bad.
I think it was versus San Francisco. I want to say he's got decimated. I think they had like 7 sacks that game or something.
I mean,
some
that makes sense.
Stuff like that.
Their front 7 is disgusting.
So yeah, I
Jared Bliss wants to smoke. I don't know if you.
I want to see our
Jared. You're a nice guy. I'm not going to do you like that, bro.
I want to see our cornerbacks play up more. I expect a lot of checkdowns, and the only other thing I have is our pass rush could kind of have their hands full with Andrew Thomas. He's the highest graded offensive player in PFF through the first 4 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Offensive.
So I was
player.
watching. Real quick, since you're on that, I was watching something earlier, and they said a lot of that has to do, not that he is not a really good player, a lot of it has to do with how well they're running the ball. Like everything is play action. Almost every throw they make is play action, so it's helping the tackles a lot.
I was going to say there's some disparity between his success when he has play action versus him just dropping back, which makes sense for most QBs, but his disparity was like huge. That's all.
Basically, just admitting that Saquon Barkley is the only player on the Giants offense that I'm concerned about.
Yep,
literally the only one.
He's the only player on that roster that I'm really like.
Yeah,
he's good.
Hey,
I'd put Thibodeau in there.
So
yeah, he's young.
He's a rookie, but yeah.
I like Leonard Williams.
He hasn't lived up to the hype, I'll be honest.
No, he hasn't, but he's still a solid.
He's all right. Yeah, he's all right. But he's paid a lot of money to just be all right.
Give me your Bears burn, Jake.
All right. So the Giants are averaging 139.5 pass yards per game. That's 31st in the NFL. The fucking Bears average 97 pass yards a game. That is 42 yards less than the second worst. That is fucking bad. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Justin Fields, future MVP. Justin Fields will be the. Hey, you know what? I'll call it right now. Justin Fields will be the Bears' second MVP. He'll get that.
You want to know how
win that MVP for him?
Justin Fields didn't start the season last year as a starter, right? This is his first year as a starter. They have the Bears mocked to pick a fucking quarterback in the
Yeah, they do.
So, all right, I got a question for you guys. Last year, Justin Fields, in 12 games he played, he threw for 1,870 yards. What are the odds he throws for less playing a full season?
At this pace, pretty high.
It's possible, right?
A lot higher than they should be.
It's possible,
Dude,
right?
for real. That's fucking sad. No, I was like, there's no fucking way. I was like, dude, this website's lying to me right now. It's ESPN. That's where I
Dude.
do all my stats.
Yeah.
You remember
97 yards per game.
Maybe 3-4 months ago when Bears fans were saying that all their problems
He'll
were
be
because
his
of Matt
first
Nagy?
4,000-yard passer in Bears history. Yeah, maybe his career.
You mean when it's over
He
next
plays
year?
3 more years.
He might not
get
even
there.
get there.
Brady?
He might
the
get
Brady
he might
stat.
get kicked out before then.
Oh yeah. Hey, if there's any
Yikes.
Bears fans watching, Brady, just since he's been 40 years old, would be like your all-time leading passer in your entire history.
That is sad.
That's pretty
That-
terrible.
That is sad.
You know,
At
it's
40
funny
years
when
old.
Bears fans are like, "Oh, you had Rodgers and Favre. You only have 2 Super Bowls." It's like you put 11 players together on elite defenses and won 0.
Man. Well, I mean, they have one, but
I would argue it's harder to put together like dominant defenses like year after year after year after year after year than hitting on 2 quarterbacks.
pretty rare to hit on 2 quarterbacks, I'd say. But
Which is fine. I agree with that. It's hard to hit on 2 quarterbacks. But how much harder is it to hit on 11 defenders?
Yeah.
and have the right scheme, I'd agree with that.
I
And
don't
when
know,
you
the
when you
Bears have
factor
had a
in
tough-
when you factor in
tough
injuries and
finding
shit,
quarterback.
when you factor in injuries, I agree with you. Because a cornerback can go out, like we've had Jair out a bunch the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Zadarius Smith was out a lot. We got lucky that Rashawn Gary is a fucking monster. But yeah, that's tough. But yeah, I just wanted to give shit to the Bears. Truthfully, I think we're all gonna say the same shit, right? Load the box, stop Saquon. He's the entire offense. He makes everything go.
Yeah.
When they run screens to him, when they call pass plays, and Daniel Jones isn't looking down the field, he's gonna throw it to Saquon. Okay, that's just what's gonna happen. It's pretty simple to see. They only average 332 yards a game. That is 22nd. I know somebody else said that before, but 192 of that is rush yards. Cut that shit down. I say my goal for us, I would say hold them to 140 because they're gonna run the ball a fuck ton. We hold them to 140. That's 50 yards less than their average. We're gonna whoop their ass.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant total for a second. I was like, I'm good for that.
Oh, I didn't know we were skipping all the way down to Simon Says. All right.
No, not yet.
140
But, yeah.
total yards. All right. Justin
No,
Fields
140.
2.0.
If we hold them to 140 rush yards, I think we're gonna whoop their ass.
Yeah.
Because then Daniel Jones has to be a quarterback, which we know how that looks. He's just a white version.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add on what anyone other said. They're averaging 192.5 yards a game. We have to load the box, and this is where we need to make adjustments. I know Jones is injured, but I guess in practice he's looked mobile and been running around. Jones is averaging like 50 yards rushing a game. So on third downs and stuff where he rolls out and stuff, he's going to be a little bit dangerous. So
Keep some
we need to keep an eye
containment.
on him. We
Maybe
can't
Walker
just because
Buy him.
just because he has an ankle. I guess he's been moving around, ankle injury. He's been moving around fine. So we just gotta watch him. So,
If he's playing, there's no reason to act like he's not going to be 100%.
yeah,
You might as well just prepare as if he's going to be 100% if he's playing.
I
So,
agree.
Bryant, I'll let you go first. Give me your matchup that you're watching.
The matchup I'm watching is Joe Barry versus himself. Literally what I wrote down. Adjust your damn defense to your opponent and talents. They need to. I don't understand. This defense is so talented, and a lot of the players we've all talked about it. They're not playing up to their potential as much as we'd like to see them. Kenny's killing it, but Campbell hasn't. He's playing well, but he's not playing what he played last year. Amos and Savage had their struggles. Even Jaw and Stokes have had their struggles, but I think it's because they haven't been put in a great position to succeed. They're just playing this 2-shell vanilla that everyone wants to play across the NFL. This game should be, until they beat us throwing it, you should be
8 of the
stopping the
box.
run. And
Really,
that's it.
seriously, 8.
Whether it's 3 linebackers like we did week 1 or whatever it was before Barnes went out, or if you add another defensive lineman, or if you just drop one of the safeties into the box. Barry needs to be willing to do something different. I get that you want to play that. I get that you wanted them to go down the field on you in 10 plays or 12 plays instead of a quick pass. Make them do the quick pass. Because guess what? With Saquon, he can go down the field on you in 10 or 12 plays if we let him. So the only way I think they keep this even close is if we let Saquon go crazy.
That plays into, like I brought up, the Packers are allowing only 8.8 yards per completion. That's the seventh. That's seventh in the NFL. So that that plays into your point, and that's that kind of validates what you're saying. Jake, what's the matchup that you're watching from the Packers defense against the Giants offense?
Saquon Barkley. That's it. That's all I got. He's the best player on that offense. He's the best player on that team.
The only player.
When you're looking at, like, say you're on a scale and you're looking at players that are valued high and valued low, he's the only guy that I look at on this team that I'm just like, yeah, he's a beast. Yeah,
that's some nice young offensive linemen and stuff. But other than that, like, Saquon is the only one on offense that can hurt you.
I'm not counting rookies yet because it's still so early in their career. Maybe next year, if we play the Giants again, if they win the division, and we're talking about Evan Neal, I'll be like, okay, Evan Neal had a good rookie season. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not grading rookies on that scale yet because it's still.
He hasn't had a good season to this point.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta win our division yet too for that to be the case.
Yeah,
Philadelphia is going to win that division by 4 games.
Oh yeah.
I was just making an example.
Simon, what's the matchup that you're watching?
I can't not say the same thing, right?
Yeah.
God, I just want to see our defensive line play better, honestly. I'm looking for Kenny Clark to come back a little bit better this week, play a little bit better game, just not get pushed around as much versus what I consider a weaker offensive line. I don't foresee that happening. I think Kenny Clark will take hold, and then I'm hoping TJ Slayton plays a little bit more stuff. Just put that big body in the middle. Put TJ Ford in there. Just put some mass in there.
TJ Slayton? Don't put TJ Ford in there.
TJ Ford is 6 feet tall. He's little as hell.
No, not TJ Ford. What's his name?
Dude,
what's his first name?
Let's be honest, though. TJ Ford's shorts would stop them.
Hey, that's true. That's true. And by the way, as we're going on about the D line, we might see a Jack Heflin sighting. Just so you guys know.
Jonathan Ford. Sorry, Jonathan Ford. That's what I meant. Yeah, just throw some weight in there. Just have some guys.
Not TJ Ford.
Not TJ Ford.
I wonder what line
Jonathan Ford. Yeah, because Dean Lowry is big, right? But he's not he's like 295.
He got pushed around some this last week.
Yeah, he got pushed around a little bit last week. So we'll see what adjustments Joe Barry makes for how he plays personnel. But I'm looking for a big change for this week.
I think Belichick and the Patriots did a really good job of identifying where Kenny Clark was on the line and sending 2 linemen at him. Especially if you could see it on their I don't even remember who the I think it was Tony Romo that said it, but he brought up how on their touchdown run, they had one guy to seal him and one guy to push him. And they had 2 perfectly funneled Kenny Clark 5 yards away from where the play was happening.
Yeah.
That's Belichick for you, that he's going to have a good offensive line and he's going to know where to get your best players away from it.
Yeah. I'm not taking anything away from Belichick. He's still best coach.
Yeah. So for me, Simon, you mentioned that the Giants' offensive line isn't as good as the Patriots, which I don't think is a super hot take to bring up, but their offensive line has been pretty shaky. So for me, I'm watching Rashawn Gary versus the Giants' offensive line. When the Packers are playing defense, I can't take my eyes off Rashawn Gary. I can't.
And Evan Neal
every play, it feels like he's got a chance to wreck the game. Every single play, Gary could derail your game plan. And if we get into a situation where Jake, I think it was said, getting ahead early in the game, Rashawn Gary, if you say the Packers start with the ball, they go and score a touchdown, and the next play Gary does a strip sack like he did against New England, and the Packers can go and get up 14-0 in the first 7 or 8 minutes of the game, and then the Giants have to throw to get back into the game. I feel much better about defending Daniel Jones trying to throw to get back into a game than I feel about Tom Brady trying to get back in a game. So for me, it's going to be hard to take my eyes off of Rashawn Gary in this game.
You make a good point too, Tyler, because coming into the season, I just looked up, because I know he had a lot of fumbles. Daniel Jones had 36 career fumbles in 37 career games. So he's at fumbling once a game, essentially.
Oh.
So,
the The Justin
So,
Fields
and-
comparisons come back. All right.
Yeah. No, dude, Jake, when you showed
Yeesh.
Jamarcus Russell's stats to Fields, I was shook how similar it was. And
Just
actually,
saying, bro.
I forgot you posted
Russell
that.
had more touchdown passes and less
Justin Fields is
interceptions.
probably studying those
But-
blitz coverages too.
Yeah.
That was a
I think he's
But,
playing. He's
yeah,
playing
so-
Warzone with Kyler.
Yeah. Evan Neal has struggled a little bit coming in, has been beat. So I think this might be another game where, unfortunately for Preston Smith, like where he had Tristan Wirfs the entire game, he probably gets Andrew Thomas the entire game, and I think we just let Rashawn Gary go against Evan Neal the majority of the game and try to wreck house. And
Just
don't be surprised if he
let
has
him
a
just
second
let Rashawn
fumble
Gary eat.
2 weeks in a row, sack strip fumble, which was super impressive last week. If you think about it, I think they only threw the ball like 21 times and we had 4 sacks or whatever. So
5 sacks.
That's
Yeah.
what gets that.
Oh,
That's
dude.
what gets that pass, that sack percentage up really high.
Yeah.
So
Can we just talk about that sack that he had where he knocked the quarterback out? Dude, he was shot out of a cannon. The guy
Yeah.
barely touched Gary. That was crazy.
I felt bad for
barely, like-
Hoyer.
Yeah, dude, he got
It's
fucking smushed.
it's actually really amazing to watch how his pass rush repertoire has come together. Like he just beats guys in way different ways.
Last week it
Or,
was
like,
power.
his-
Yeah.
Yeah, like whereas years, his rookie and second year, where it was just like he bull rushed the dude and that was it. But he's getting out there, he's ripping arms and just not even getting touched, using that speed to get around the edge. It's
Yeah, man.
crazy how good he has become.
He was literally shot out of a cannon. It was like, oh
Yeah.
my god, that is a bad man.
Yeah, I don't
He's gonna
blame
get paid a lot
Hoyer
of money.
for not coming back. Oh yeah, he's gonna make bank.
He went on
Hoyer
IR.
might
I
even
feel
have a
really bad for
concussion,
him.
bro.
Cool. He went on IR. Did you see that?
yeah,
Hoyer did with his concussion?
I didn't
until he's
see that.
older. All right, Jake, what's the weather going to be like on Sunday morning? Well, it's going to be Sunday morning for us. It'll be Sunday, regular day for them.
So I saw 64 degrees, mostly
Close.
sunny skies. Yeah, I know. I'm always a little mad when it's so close. I'm like, these degrees is so far
Come on.
away that it's not even a chance.
It's just,
right?
come on, Mother Nature. Just turn the thermostat up a couple degrees for us.
Winds
We
south
are children.
10 to 15 miles per hour, so not bad.
Seems like an
Normal day.
October Wisconsin day.
Yes, it
Mhm.
does.
Like that's what they play in.
That's an open air stadium, right?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
I think so.
All righty. So, Jake, give me your X factor for this game.
Saquon Barkley. I'm not even kidding. Stop him.
That's mine
Stop
too.
the Giants. That's simple. This game was
I
easy.
wrote my notes. I wrote Saquon Barkley. Honestly, he's the only threat on the Giants offense.
That's kind of it, right? I mean,
I
I
have a
hate
different
beating
one.
a dead horse, but and we already kind of talked about it too. If we get up by
Yeah.
like
I
3
mean, it's not like the
scores,
horse is going to get mad at you, Simon.
Yeah.
no, but Peter might.
The horse is already dead.
Piapaka.
Yeah, but Peter gets
Oh
mad
my
at people
God.
eating like chicken wings.
That
on
is
the
going to be
street.
the last time I hear you do a British accent. Don't do that shit. Oh
Fucking Tuesday, isn't it?
Tuesday.
my god.
Boy, a bit rude to stick my knife in your chest, ain't it?
Fucking
God.
Dude, coming in
We're-
with that bullshit after you
we're
do
not.
the,
We're never
the
covering a
Packers
London
offense
game.
is like the when you're drinking at the bar and you're looking at the ugly chick, and then you're gonna come here with a bullshit British accent too. Oh, damn it, Brian.
Screw them.
How the fuck isn't he fired? Why do I get
I
fired?
don't
so many times?
Oh god. Yeah, Bryant's definitely fired.
All right, cool. I was
I'll
making
get my
sure.
X factor first.
Oh my gosh.
Do you have anything-
and you're
does
fired
anyone
for
else have
using the word
anything to
goodies
add?
as a grown man. You're fired for that too.
I didn't hear him.
Said something about the goodies comment earlier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Does anybody have anybody other than Saquon Barkley as an X factor?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
I
Got a
have
live
Darnell
horse to
Savage.
beat. All right, cool.
I have Darnell Savage, and that's because he actually played more physical against New England, and I think we might see. Now I wrote this down before Amos is like he's still questionable, so maybe it's Amos we bring back down into the box. But I really want to see him closer to the line of scrimmage. I think he needs to play this game closer to the line of scrimmage, and he needs to bring that physicality. And I honestly, if you look at all our sacks this year, it's all been from defensive linemen, our outside linebackers. I think this will be one of the little, yeah. Who other
Ron Reed had one last week.
defensive linemen
Defensive lineman.
Oh,
and
dude,
outside linebackers? So
You're fired.
That's why you get fired, you son of a bitch.
So
Wait,
I
hold
think this
on.
could be.
What was your original statement?
I said defensive linemen and offensive linebacker, outside linebackers have all.
Now you're
Outside
fucking them up,
linebackers.
Simon. You're double
No,
fired.
no,
You're fired.
'cause the way he said it. He
Anyways.
said nobody else has
So anyways.
sacks outside
So anyways.
outside linebackers.
No, I said defensive linemen and outside linebackers.
don't
I
that's
think
what you
this could be the
said.
first.
I'll watch the replay.
Watch the tape, son.
Watch the tape. I don't think that's what you said.
Hey, the tape never lies.
It's like those commercials now where it's like they're doing the instant replay
you
on like
throw a
normal
flag.
things. It's like
Yeah,
you said
I'm
you
gonna
were going
challenge
to
you,
pack the
Simon.
tent, and he's like, "Let's go to the replay," and it's like, "How was it to relive that? It was embarrassing."
But I think this could be the first game we see a sack from the secondary, and that could very well be Darnell Savage or someone. So a little just
He's got the speed for it, honestly.
yeah. But they need to play closer to line of scrimmage. Like that's it. That's my X factor. And I'm hoping because not only can he play physical on Saquon, I think he can spy Daniel Jones a little bit on those third downs.
So is that your key to victory as well, Bryant?
No, that's not my key to victory.
All right, give me your key to victory.
Would you like my key to victory?
Yes, I would.
My key to victory is win the turnover battle.
You fucker.
We have yet to win the turnover battle. You let me go first. We have yet to win the turnover battle this year. We've tied it
What I do
twice
with
and
the
lost it
votes.
twice. If the Giants give us extra chances, I just don't think they can keep it close. So if we win the turnover battle and we get them out of their run game, I think this could turn very ugly for them. If we do crap like last week where we throw a pick six and we fumble and we have no time possession in the first half and we let them run the ball, then it could be just like last week, and it could be us shaking our heads as to why we're in a game with granted they are 3-1, but I think we're better than, like, pretty clear cut better than this team. There's a reason we're both 3-1 and we're 8-point favorites, right?
Yeah.
So
That's fair. So I also have no turnovers as my key to victory. The Packers have 4 lost fumbles and 3 interceptions in 4 games.
disgusting.
That's gross.
you almost
Conversely, the
have as many
Packers have
turnovers
3
as
fumble
last year.
recoveries and 1 interception on defense. So the Packers are -3 in turnover differential. That is a number I want to see swing way back in the Packers' favor, because we know that Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones are 2 guys who both have some turnovers this year that don't turn the ball over. They just don't. So hopefully the rest of this season, like Jake said before, the law of averages, where Rodgers really only throws 5 to 8 interceptions every year, and he's got 3 already. So essentially, I'm looking for the last 13 games of the season for Rodgers to only throw 3 or 4 more interceptions for the entire remainder of the season. Aaron Jones, he's basically good for like 1 or 2 fumbles a year, if that. So for the rest of the season, you might only see Aaron Jones fumble 1 more time, hypothetically. And Daniel Jones brought it up. He's turnover prone. I also, in addition to all the fumbles that he's got, I don't think he's a super talented thrower of the ball. I don't think it's going to shock anybody if I say that. So the Packers have an opportunity to play against a quarterback like Daniel Jones, who will turn the ball over if he's put in situations where he's pressured. So the Packers just have to bring that pressure and no turnovers. Simon, what's your key to victory?
Yeah, we kind of hit on it earlier a little bit, but it's the same as last week for me. I just think this game's too easy if they just get out to a hot start. I want to see us take the ball, get up like 2-3 scores, and then put the ball in Daniel Jones' hands and watch him fumble and intercept it away. This is a game where we should dominate them just for pure talent. And I think that's kind of how we won versus the Patriots. We could have easily lost that game, like pretty easily, but I feel like talent just kind of won us the game, like the talent difference between our teams. But I think if we get out for a hot start, Daniel Jones isn't the type of quarterback that can come back on, down 2-3 possessions in a game. And I think we can all agree on that. So
I feel
that's
like we're
my
playing like
victory.
Yeah, I feel like we're playing like the same game a third week in a row.
Yeah,
with
kind of.
like it's stop the run and like they're like
And pressure
no,
the
I don't think
quarterback.
I will.
That's why I said like between last week and this week, it's kind of like the same team almost.
Yep.
You're
Stop
not
the run and
expecting
pressure
much
the
out of the quarterback. They have a good running game. Their offensive line ain't that good, but they have no wide receivers. It's kind of the same team almost.
Jake, what's your key to victory?
Yeah, so you guys pretty much just had that little side conversation and pretty much talked about it. Mine is whoever wins the line of scrimmage and is able to run the ball. Plain and simple. Here's a crazy thought, though. With all the injuries on the Giants, they have a worse receiving core than the Bears. That's hard to do. But it took 4 injuries to do that.
That's rough.
All right. I
All
like giving digs to Chicago. Fuck them.
Let's go to Simon Says. I have 1. Brian, you probably got like 7 this week.
I only did 2 this week.
I think you keep adding more on top of every week. You add more. You're like, Brian. Next week it's gonna be like.
That's
Brian,
why I thought he was gonna have like
69.
7. Yeah, week 17. Brian's got 69. Simon Says. It's gonna be Saturday morning, and Brian's gonna be like, "So my next Simon Says."
I gotta be like Paul Merkel. Eventually, I'll get 1 prediction right.
That's true.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Okay.
But you have to brag about it too and tell everyone you were right.
Yeah, I will.
Jake, how many do you have?
2.
Okay. All right. Brian, you give me 1. Jake, give me 1. And I'll give my 1, and then you guys can each make another one. So, Brian, give me your first Simon Says.
My first Simon Says is the Packers double up the Giants in both yards and points.
Thumbs up. All right.
Yeah, easily. I can see
Jake,
it.
give me your first Simon Says.
Watson has a TD catch over 50 yards. Okay,
All right,
good.
another thumbs up.
I felt good about that one. I wrote it down.
Did you see Darnell Mooney actually had like 100 yards receiving last week, so nothing's impossible here.
That was all of Justin Fields' passing yards.
It was.
Yeah, that's
Like
so
2
badly
catches.
skewed his season stats. We're now like on his season, he's averaging like 30 yards a game, and it's like, okay, well, it could be worse because he's got 0, 0, 0, and 100. Actually, I should say 0, 0, -4 and 100.
Oh,
He actually had -4 receiving
I
yards in
know.
a game. Like, what the hell?
he played a whole game and got negative yards. That bastard.
One
Is that
catch,
against us?
-4 yards.
Yeah, he had was it Savage came down?
Yeah,
Who hit him
Yeah.
in the back?
He
Yeah,
slid underneath the
Savage
blocker
or,
and tackled him in the backfield.
Douglas, one of the 2.
I forget. I think
It was
I forget
that
who
game
it
was Douglas. Savage
It was
made a play
Douglas.
like
That's
that
right.
last week.
Yeah. All right, what you got, Tyler?
All right, mine. The Packers have fewer than 10 third downs, and they convert over 50% of them.
Hold on. Can you repeat that? Something started playing in the background. I missed it.
You got the old pH open or what?
Uh,
Trying to lower
No.
his acid level.
It's getting late. It's getting late, man. I get it.
well, I'm actually more of a
I'm
Twitter
getting
guy.
real low, big guy.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Newfound glory.
Oh my god.
Full.
Oh, fuck. All right. So my Simon Says is the Packers have fewer than 10 third downs, and they convert over 50% of them.
Fewer than, I see what you're saying.
I thought this was a good one.
That is a good one.
I say no. That's fair.
We'd have to be moving the ball.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
Watch your profanity.
I don't even remember the last time we had fewer than 10. I can't get on board. I don't remember the last time. That's something I want to look up. That is a good one, though. I like that.
All right, Brian, give me your next one.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
So to go in line with, I think that will have a quick start. I think the Packers finally start to produce turnovers and pick off Jones 3 times.
I think I know what I would do on this one.
I'm gonna say no, but I could see us having a couple turnovers.
I would say 3.
If you said 3
turnovers, I
total,
could see.
yeah.
Yeah. but
If you
not
could,
3
if you
interceptions.
said 3 total turnovers, I probably would have said maybe. But 3 interceptions, that's tough. I'm for it though.
All right,
You
Jake,
have
give
to
us
be.
the
You're a
last
Packer
one.
fan. Aaron
I don't have to do
Jones
shit.
is the NFL Ground Player of the Week again.
I like that one.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, yeah, I'm for it. He's averaging
Simon,
like
when you were
6.8 yards per carry or something
Yeah,
ridiculous.
that's nuts. Got to up that by at least 0.1.
Yeah.
He is averaging 6.8 yards per carry.
It is, yeah. I know stuff sometimes.
Simon, before when you were saying get up big, and then put the ball in Jones' hands, I was actually going to say you put it in both of the Joneses' hands. When you get up big, you make Daniel Jones have to beat you on the Giants' offense, and then the Packers get up big, and you just feed the ball to Aaron Jones and let him rack up another 170 yards of scrimmage yards.
Facts.
All right, Simon, give me your prediction from the head. Or do you have a Simon Says? I should have asked you.
Are you guys
have
done?
one?
Yeah, we're done.
I always do mine last.
Yep, go
Okay,
ahead.
do yours.
Okay.
Yep. I should have asked you before
It's
I asked
all
for your
good.
score prediction, but yeah.
All right. AJ Dillon has over 100 yards scrimmage.
Oh, for sure.
Scrimmage?
Yeah, I think that's
Scrimmage,
so.
I'll go yes.
I don't think that they're throwing the ball to him that much this year. So I don't know.
He has.
Can I say maybe?
I think he only has 9 receptions on the year. It's a thumbs up, thumbs down.
I'm gonna say thumbs down.
I can tell you.
I
how
don't
many
mean to be a
receiving
Debbie Downer,
yards
but
he
I
has.
don't see it. I don't see it.
I really
Aaron Jones
feel
is the
it.
guy.
He is. I'm really feeling AJ Dillon this week.
See, well, everybody thought AJ Dillon had a bad game last week. He put up 84 all-purpose.
No, he had a really good. He had a really good game last
People
week.
were down on him. Is why I picked him as my underrated though.
It's because people look at
first down
box
He, got,
scores.
series.
he was one of the players that
literally
got
had this
better as the
discussion
game
with
went on.
Yeah, that's true too. All right.
Alrighty, Simon, give me your score prediction from the head.
All right, from the head. So this is a game where I know I said we should win handily based just off of talent difference, but I think this could be a game where another game where we start off slow. I think the London trip and things get a little bit weird there. Basically the way they go, they leave Thursday, they arrive Friday morning, go to practice right away, try to stay up all day just to try and switch their sleep schedule.
Before
real
wanted
quick.
them to sleep on the plane, but I wasn't sure if they were going to be able to.
It's really dicey with the way the time difference and the way the players go.
I guess they didn't get as many lay flats either.
Huh?
That they wanted. They didn't get as many lay flats on their plane as they wanted, apparently.
Yeah, that sucks. So I think this could be off to a rocky start. I could see maybe the Giants score quick, and then we kind of have to play catch up again. So what was it? The Packers' first drives this year on defense is like touchdown, field goal.
It's actually alternated. It went.
Oh, it is. You're
field
right.
Goal, touchdown, field goal,
field goal,
touchdown. Yeah, field goal. So
all the way around. Vikings scored a touchdown.
Oh
Bears
yeah.
got a field goal.
So
Buccaneers
the
scored a
trend would say
touchdown.
Giants
got a field
touchdown first drive. This one, hopefully not.
So I think they score a quick point, and then defense and offense adjust. I kind of have this as a pretty low-scoring game. I do think we win handily, but it's not going to be as pretty as maybe it would look. I got us winning 24-10.
24-10. Bryant, what's your score prediction from the head?
So from the head, kind of
heart?
like.
No, we're going to do head first and then heart.
Oh, okay.
Settle down.
Don't tell me what to do.
You're fired again. I knew it was coming. I knew it.
So,
that's what she said.
kind of along the same lines as Simon saying, like, this should be a game that we run away with, but we just haven't done it yet. It's like the same typical Packers. It's almost like we play down to our competition and just keep them in the game. I don't know, it's like you're playing with your food or something, and sometimes you're
Wisconsin sports fans, tell us if you've heard this before.
Yeah. So, right.
So
it's just like, I really want. We haven't seen it many times where the Packers in the Matt LaFleur era really put their foot on someone's neck and just crush them like we did against maybe like Tennessee comes to mind or something like that when AJ Dillon went wild. But for me, from the head, like a 24-14, so we cover, but it's just like it could have been a lot more. And I do think the travel and stuff could affect it, but from the head, I think we still struggle a little bit on offense like we shouldn't. We still play 2 coverage and let them score some points. And then so 24-14 is from my head.
So I went with a similar thought. Like I think the offense is going to continue to grow as it has. Like I said before, the offense is trending up, which is encouraging, especially for them to have better second half adjustments against New England. So I went with the same margin of victory, but I went 27-17. I just think there's an opportunity for a garbage time touchdown here. Daniel Jones, if they're down 27-10 with 4 minutes to go, like unfortunately, if the Packers are up 17 points with 4 minutes to go, you're gonna see a very vanilla defense.
That's
that could
fine in that
potentially allow a
case.
late touchdown.
I just don't want it throughout the game.
Right. So I went 27-17. Jake, what's your score prediction from the head?
31-17.
All right, give me your score prediction from the heart.
34-13. I'm not going to do a long-winded explanation. I just think we're going to whoop their ass.
Close. I also went 34. I went 34-9.
Oh, no touchdowns?
No touchdowns.
Oh,
if it happened to 2 teams last night, it can happen to 1 team on Sunday.
That's fair.
Brian,
That
what's
was a
your
good
score
time,
prediction
Simon.
from the heart?
35-13. I think this should be like I said, I think we could easily double them up in both the yards and points if we play our game. So and one of my predictions before I was kicking around was 200 rushing yards, 300 yards passing. Like I could think that could happen as a team total. Like
that'd be nasty.
I think that'd be hard pressed to come upon
You'd have
both
to have
of
like
those
a 40-20
numbers.
time of possession.
Yeah,
They did that against the Bengals last year.
that'd be like a Seahawks-Lions game or something.
yeah, we'll
They
see
did
what
that
happens.
against the Bengals last year. Remember that? Tyler?
Yeah. So I'm just saying, I think like if we can take our first half against Tampa Bay and our second half against the New England and push them together, like we just need those 2 halves to dock and we'll be set to go.
I'm not going to.
So.
Oh my god, you're so fired. Oh my god, we're all getting fired.
I wasn't gonna
Mike Zuckerberg is going to be the next comment. And he's going to be like, "You're all done."
Hey, check that 30-day ban.
Oh god. Simon, give me your score prediction from the heart.
All right, from the heart, I think so you said, what'd you say, 34-9?
Yep.
I said 35-12. They kicked 4 field goals.
Oh, one more field goal. All right.
I said the same thing. They just don't score. I think the talent difference is so wide in this game, and it'll come down to those. I think we go out there and we could just wax them, no problem.
All right, I'm with that. So it'll be interesting. So I just want to ask this question real quick. What are you guys going to eat during the game? I've seen so many people ask this question. Like, are you going to be drinking during the game? Are you going to be eating, breakfast sausages or wings? Or are you going to be eating, brats and burgers with scrambled eggs? Like, what are you guys going to eat during the game? Because the game is early in the morning.
Probably whatever.
I'll probably have breakfast beforehand.
Breakfast.
Yeah.
Nothing like Jake, maybe a pizza and a gallon of milk.
That's,
no,
again, the wrong net. The wrong net. That is my cousin.
Half a gallon.
So you guys,
I might have
I'll fill you guys in on the story, Simon.
Oh god.
So we're playing football behind the middle school, right? And Jake's cousin says, "Guys, I don't feel very good. I'm gonna go home, eat a pizza, and drink a gallon of milk."
He said he had a stomach ache. He's
supposed to help you feel better.
I just want to let you know that at this point, me and Tyler are probably 11 years old. So my cousin was like 13, 14 years old. It's like, you should probably know at 14 that a pizza and a gallon of milk isn't going to make you feel better, bud.
Yeah.
I mean,
spooky season, so I'll probably get up and eat a bowl of Count Chocula and then just wait for the game to start.
I don't really eat breakfast that often.
I hate this guy so much right now.
You're the one that wants to eat breakfast sausage. You probably see how many you can fit in your mouth.
I said pancakes, first of all.
All right, so when you guys eat cereal, what kind of cereal do you eat?
They probably eat like cornflakes that without the
Frosted Flakes, like Captain Crunch.
Tyler's the type of dude that eats
dog.
Tyler's the type of dude that eats grape nuts and freaking Raisin Bran,
disgusting.
apparently.
Oh.
What
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
What's wrong with
Count
Chocula?
Yeah, what? You guys are eating the same kids cereal.
No.
Okay, first of all,
Raisin Bran?
it's because you
like
started the
Honey Bunches of
statement
oat
with
gooey,
it's
old
spooky
fuck.
season.
Yeah, it's
Okay, so you sound like a white girl going to get her pumpkin spice, bro. I
Yeah.
don't want to hear that shit. It's
Give
spooky
you
season,
my
so I
Got your
gotta eat
Han
some cereal
Solo
in
outfit
October.
on. You got the black pants, the
Hell
brown
yeah.
boots, the white shirt, and the black vest.
Paul, we're talking some bullshit right now, dude. That's what we're talking
You missed
about.
the whole show, buddy.
Yeah. We gave our score predictions. We were serious. We tried to be. Bryant always fucking ruins it, this bastard.
Hey,
Talking
I'm in
about
the season. I
docking
just
and
got,
cereal.
yeah, I just.
What a transition,
Hey,
bro.
if we do it at the same time, we can share our bowls.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, that reminds
Yeah,
me
you're
of
so done.
that. Oh, I got after the show. There's
Please don't send it.
All right. Anybody
what I'm
else have
talking
anything
about?
football related before we get canceled?
No.
no. Go Pack.
All right. Well, let's hope for a game that's cleaner than this show has been, and I will see you guys back on next Friday when we talk about a Packer win.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Go.
Go back,
Go
go.
Pack, go.